In order to adjust the SIM, we need to understand the different SIM parameters. Hi, Remy here, and welcome to my channel. In this video, we shall see how to tune the SIM setting. As of recording this video, I am using OrcaSlicer 1.8.1. Once you open OrcaSlicer under your user preset, that is here over this profiles, go to quality, and under that go to SIM section, or else you can click this search button and type SIM, okay, and just select this SIM gap. It will take you to this section where the SIM properties are. Apart from this, we also need to change the wipe setting, which is mentioned in the printer profile over here, this profile. Click on this edit preset button under extruder, then retraction section, wipe setting, these three settings, that is wipe while retracting, wipe distance, retract amount before wipe. Also these settings we need to change, but these settings we will not change over here, rather we will change it under the filament profile over here. So click this edit preset button, settings override, and these three settings we are going to change: wipe while retracting, wipe distance, and retract amount before wipe. So the first thing to understand about SIM is the position. So position is where the SIM will be placed while it is printing. So the available options are nearest, align, back, and random. So we'll slice the model with nearest and see the position where it is going to place the SIM. Slice the model, and over here you can see it is front left, rear left over here, and rear right over here. Next we'll change it to align and then reslice the model. So align is basically printing in only in one corner, that is front left over here. So we'll change now to back. As the name suggests, it will be printed on back side of the corner over here. And last, random. So random is basically placing it all over the print wherever it is possible. So here random is basically placing anywhere, so on all the sides of the print. Let's understand staggered inner SIM. So we'll slice the model by disabling this option first. Staggered inner SIM is off, so we'll slice the model. We'll zoom in to the position where the SIM is. So right now we'll take this particular position. If you see this particular line which is moving from inner wall to the outer wall, this is what the stagger SIM will be altered once you enable this option. So right now it is almost perpendicular to the inner wall. So we'll enable this option and reslice it. Now you can see it has moved to an angle. So when the print finishes over here, so it will come like this over here, make a stop here, and then move here. So that is what the staggered inner SIM means. Next we shall we'll try to understand the SIM gap, which is set to be 10% here. We'll change this to millimeters instead of percentage. It is easy to identify. So we'll change this to, let's say, 1 mm and reslice the model. So now you can see over here, so this is the gap. Over here also you can see the gap. So higher the number, wider the gap. Next we'll understand roll based wipe speed, this particular option. So we have two options here, roll based wipe speed and wipe speed. So if you enable roll based wipe speed, and then wipe speed will be disabled. So these options, these two options, it means that the speed at which the wipe should be done. So if you want to manually set the speed, you need to uncheck this option, and then you can set this speed per mm or as a percentage. So if the value is expressed as percentage, it will be calculated based on the travel speed. So if you set this to 80%, this will be the 80% of your travel speed over here. So this is my travel speed. So 80%, this 80% will be the speed of the travel speed. Otherwise, if you enable this option, then it will take the speed of the current extrusion. So now we are doing the wipe for the outer wall. We will see what is the speed of the outer wall, and that will be the speed of the wipe. So if you mouse over it, you will see a small description over here. So it says the wipe speed is determined by the speed of the current extrusion roll. So let's slice the model. We'll zoom in over here on this particular section, right over here, and if you see over here, it says F12,000. so this is the speed what is set for the outer wall. So that speed it takes. Now we'll change the speed manually and see what it is setting. So let's say we set it to 100, reslice the model, and we'll come to the same position. So F6000, which is 100 into 60 seconds, which is 6000. So this speed is what the setting over here is, the speed what will be determined while doing a wipe. Now let's understand wipe on loops. We'll enable this option, slice the model, and zoom in to this position. So this travel move which you see over here, blue line, is due to the wipe on loops enable. So this moves the print head from this location to this location at an angle inward towards the inner line. This might help in improving the print quality, but I didn't notice any improvement during my test. So we'll disable this option and slice the model again, and see this option, the travel move is not there now. So let's see again, enable, slice. So this is the travel move line which you get once you enable the wipe on loops. Now let's see settings override, which you can find under the filament profile. So over here, click the edit preset button, and under settings, these are the settings that we are going to override. Wipe while retracting, wipe distance, and retract amount before wipe. Now let's enable this option and see what are the changes. So we'll enable wipe while retracting, wipe distance, and retract amount before wipe. Wipe distance will set to 1 mm, and wipe retract amount before wipe will keep it 100%. Slice the model. Now if you see here, we have a gap of 1 mm which is set to 1 mm over here, and this small dot what you see here is actually the wipe. So even though we have set the wipe over here to 1 mm, this is not 1 mm actually, it is very less. So here what actually happens is, this wipe distance, even though we set to 1 mm, seam gap what you see here is part of this wipe distance. So total wipe, so this total wipe what you set here 1 mm is including the seam gap what you set here. So if you want to have a wipe of 1 mm in addition to the seam gap which is set to 1 mm here, then we need to set this to 2 mm like this. So if you set this to 2 mm, then you will get an additional wipe of 1 mm. So this wipe is including the seam gap. Let's analyze this particular part and see what exactly is there. So we will go to this particular point and we'll do a step by step analysis. So next we see an extrusion of 0.6 mm, retraction of 0.6 mm, which we have set to 100% over here. So this is 100% of the retraction what we have set in the printer profile over here. So under extruder 0.6 mm retract, and since we set to 100% over here, it is doing 100% retract before wipe. So this is from here to here is a gap, and then it does a retraction, and after retraction it will do wipe. So you have here retract, 100% retract, which is 0.6, then wipe. Next step it will do a wipe. So if you see this one, this is a wipe which is not 1 mm actually, but less than that. Now we will change this to 2 mm and see the change. We'll slice the model. Now if you see, we have a bigger wipe here, which is actually 1 mm. We have set this to 2 mm. Since the actual total wipe will be part of including SIM, so from here to here it is 2 mm, of which 1 mm is the SIM gap. So from here to here is the SIM gap, and from here to here is the remaining wipe. Now we'll again do the same analysis by going to that particular location over here. Now if you see here, we are saying retract 100%, 0.6, but here if you see, now we are doing a wipe of 99.24. If you see this particular X position, which is 98.297, and if you subtract that this value, so 99.245 minus this, you will get approximately 1 mm. Now we will change the retraction to 50% and see the change. So we'll do the same analysis. The gap is here again 1 mm, and the distance is 1 mm, so total distance is 2 mm, and retraction over here, this is 50%, and the remaining 50% it will retract while doing the wipe. So from here to here, when the nozzle moves while doing the wipe, it will retract. So we'll do the analysis again. So now we'll step ahead, we'll do one step ahead. If you see this particular position over here, it is 0.3, which is 50%. Once again we'll see over here under extruder, length to retract is 0.6, and over here we have set to 50% before wipe. So the wipe starts from here to here, which is 1 mm. Before that, do a 50% retract. This pink color is this one, 0.3. Now we'll step ahead, and here if you see the remaining wipe, the remaining 50% minus 0.3. So it will retract while doing a wipe. Now let's see some few test prints with different SIM settings. I have 4 test prints here with different SIM settings A, B, C and D. So these are the settings for each of the print. The difference is in this test prints, either the wipe distance is different, the SIM gap or the retraction. So for A, SIM gap is 0.1 mm, and wipe distance is 1 mm. Retract amount before wipe is 0. For B, SIM gap 0, and the remaining is default, so it will take from the printer profile. So printer profile says wipe while retracting is enabled, wipe distance is 2 mm, and retract amount before wipe is 100%. For C, SIM gap is 0.1 mm, roll wipe distance is 0.5 mm, and retract amount before wipe is 0. For D, SIM is 0.1 mm, the SIM gap, wipe distance is 0.4 mm, and retract amount before wipe is 10%. This is another view from the front side. So over here A, B, C and D. Now let's see the same with from a different angle. So we have A, B, C, D. So this is where you see the wall. It is curved, like there is a line here. That's because for this the wipe distance is set to 2 mm. For the remaining we don't see such such a line because the wipe distance is less. So for if you have set the SIM position as aligned nearest back, then the wipe distance should be less as much as possible. Otherwise when the print head goes to this position, like the amount of wipe as over here it is 2 mm, it will retract the remaining filament. So for retracting, the nozzle will be halted for a very short period of time. During that time the the melted plastic which is there in the nozzle will ooze out, causing this effect. From here you can see the difference. For the top one, you can see that the filament is quite visible. You can, if you touch this, you'll be able to feel the difference between both. So here you will feel like it's a hump, and over here it is there, but it's very less. So the optimum value what I have found for different types of filament, if it is seam position is random, then the seam gap between 0.5 to 0.8, anywhere between 0.5 to 0.8 works well. But this all depends on the type of filament you are using. So please do a test and see which one suits good for you. So this is seam position is random, and the previous print which I showed, for that the seam position is aligned. So for aligned nearest and back, the seam gap should be as less as possible, and for random it should be wider than what you set for the aligned.